Hello and welcome to the 2016 Geneva Motor Show, and like every year there's lots of action from the show floor, lots of new launches, and this year in particular lots of interesting new SUVs, some of them coming to India. So let's get down and have a look. One of the big stars at this year's Geneva Motor Show is the Vision S from Skoda. Now this SUV concept has a lot of potential. This is the next big thing from Skoda. It's going to be their flagship SUV. In fact, Joseph Kaban, the designer, has said this is the superb of SUVs, and it will be very premium. It will be packed with technology. It's going to come with possibly a 2-liter engine, the EA288, which the company has said will be locally made in India. But what is interesting is the packaging, because in what is a beautifully proportioned vehicle, there are 3 rows of seats. It has been a bit of a challenge getting the form, and the designer, Joseph Kaban, has said that balancing the 3rd row and getting the rake at the back was pretty tough.
I have to admit that the 7-seater, like 3 lines of seats, is definitely challenging. Challenging in case you expect to make not only a roomy car as you always, or as we always do by Skoda, but as well if you want to have it car which is from outside still very compact and sporty.
The big news, of course, is that the production version of the Vision S will be coming to India, that's for sure. This is going to be around a 30 lakh SUV. It's going to be positioned head-on against the Volkswagen Tiguan. Obviously, it's not going to be very big volumes, but this is going to be making a new statement for the Skoda brand in India. One of the big launches in Geneva this year was the Audi Q2. Now this baby SUV from Audi is likely to make it even to India. We know that the 2-liter EA288 engine which powers this car is going to be localized in India. But we don't think this car will come before 2018-2019 because a lot of localization has to be done to make it affordable. And there's a chance that a long wheelbase version, the one that they're going to be making for China, will be the one that makes it here. This is the Volkswagen T-Cross Breeze. Now the company calls this an open-top SUV. But this concept is going to underpin 2 SUVs in the future. One from Volkswagen and one from Skoda. And both of them are likely to make it to India as well. Another SUV of note was the SsangYong Tivoli XLV, which is a longer, more spacious version of the standard Tivoli crossover. Now this model is set to go on sale across international markets from May this year, but I have a nagging feeling that it will come to India eventually too. SUVs are plenty, but there were other cars relevant to the Indian market as well. Well, this is the all-new Mercedes-Benz E-Class. This car made its debut at the Detroit show, but it's still getting a fair bit of interest here in Geneva. It's the latest generation, the W213. It's got the latest technology from Mercedes. Interiors are very S-Class-like. But the news for India is that it's going to be launched, the base version, with an engine below 2 liters. Now that's significant because if the diesel ban in Delhi continues for cars with engines above 2 liters, the diesel ones that is, this car could very well sell quite easily over there. India's own Tata Motors was present as always, and it showed the Kite 5, Hexa and Tiago. And while those cars did draw eyeballs, there were other cars at other stalls that simply stole my breath away. Well, we are here at the Porsche stand and some really significant launches over here. We have the 911R, which a lot of purists have been waiting for because this is the most road-focused 911 Porsche has ever made. It's very light, it's very quick, naturally aspirated, and even comes with a 6-speed manual gearbox. So in terms of driving purity, this 911 is probably unmatched. Over here we have the new Boxster, the 718 Boxster S. Big news here is that the naturally aspirated engine has been ditched for turbocharging. Yes, this is the way forward, everyone is downsizing. But the implication of this engine is that it's below 3 liters. So in India, that could translate to lower duties. The car will also have to be homologated. So a more affordable Boxster for Indian consumers awaits us. What can one say about this car? Bugatti Chiron 0 to 300 in around 13 seconds. That's just absolutely insane. Here are some other crazy Chiron facts. It's got 1500 bhp, a top speed of 420 kilometers an hour, and it costs $2.6 million or 17 crores. Now that's without the duty. With duty, it will be close to 40 crores. And only 500 of them will be made. So those were the highlights from Geneva this year, and as always, it proved to be the perfect launchpad for global debuts.
Meet Dougie Lampkin, 39 years old, British, and a 12-time World Trials champion. What's trials? Well, watch this teaser. Born into a family making motorbike history, his father, Martin, was the first ever World Trials champion in 1975. Dougie rode into the limelight in the late 80s, and he has never looked back since.
Started riding a little bit when I was 3, and then junior competitions from 9 years old. With all the training and practicing, level just got a little bit higher and a little bit higher, and yeah, after a lot of years riding in the World Championship, it's great to come to places like the IVW here, and my first visit to India, and show trials to everybody in real life.
One aspect about the trials that we'd like to know more about is your bike.
Yeah, no, the trials bike, is a very different bike to anything else. I ride a Vertigo motorcycle. It's a new brand. I've been working with them since the beginning for almost the last 3 years. Okay. It's a 300cc 2-stroke injection. It weighs 69 kilos. It has no seats. Tyre pressures front and rear are between 4 and 5 psi. So yeah, it's very different to anything else really. Its top speed is about 60 or 70 kilometers an hour. It's not the fastest, and it's definitely not the comfiest.
And when it comes to the power delivery, is it a lot of bottom, or do you have quite a bit on top as well?
The power's from the bottom, and also the clutch is very, very aggressive. Okay. Because obviously when we were riding over the car and the big obstacles, that you take the RPM to the limit around 15,000 RPM, and then you just let go of the clutch like a light switch. So it's everything's very aggressive.
And in specific, one part about tires, if the pressures were higher, would the tires still perform as well? Or is the tire compound itself
the tire is very, very important. We use Michelin tires, and you need to get the traction on the corner of the obstacles, to get the feel of the obstacles. And if you have the tire too hard, you get like a bounce back coming off. So yeah, it's one of the only sports where you have such a low pressure in motorcycles, but sometimes you have punches, but it's very important to have that low pressure. You really need it.
And now coming to your time here in India, you're doing some really crazy stuff here as well. How do you decide what you're going to do? Do you just freewheel it once you get to the location, or? Yeah,
I think I've been riding long enough now that when I arrive somewhere, I can just see the obstacle, and it's very different in trials, that you have to think about the terrain, about how much traction there is. Obviously everything's very dry here, so that's a lot easier than in a lot of places. But yeah, no, when we go to a new
Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/ETNow and don't forget to click the like button. You can also follow us on Twitter at ETNowLive. To stay updated with all our programming, hit the subscribe button on our YouTube channel by logging on to youtube.com/user/ETNow.